guys, welcome back to Life School, and I hope you are doing great. And the next part of the video is right here. And in this part, we are going to see about the TEL modeling and now something about stability analysis. So, so actually, these are very important concepts as compared to aircraft design. But I have made my best attempt in order to explain you them. And make sure you go through the references thorough during this thing because they are particularly very important in terms of understanding, and also it's quite enchanting to know how actually the tells gives the stability and what is exactly the meaning of stability in case of plane. So let's begin with the course. Before the course starts, I would like define some different points for you so that you can understand what are this actually. So I have an image over here for you. So this is an image of 3 points, that basically the center of pressure, then the CG, and the neutral point. So first of all, I would like to define these 3 points for you so that you can understand the tail part better. Now first let's go with the center of pressure, the green one. So this thing suggests that the center of pressure is the one where we consider the net effect of the lift force. So the net lift acts at this point. So this is the center of pressure. So the center of pressure is the point where all the aerodynamic force, that is the lift force, is going to act on the aerofoil. Then the next part is the CG. So this is the CG. Now CG is center of gravity of the plane, and where we can say all the weight of the plane can act from that single point. So that point represents center of gravity. Now the location of CG is in our hand. So we have to decide the location of CG accordingly in order to get stability. So basically CG is the point that we are going to adjust for, in our accordance to get the stability, because the center of pressure completely depends on the contour of the aerofoil and as well as the angle of attack. So it's not typically in our hand because the contour we cannot change for a particular aerofoil. But CG, yes, we can definitely change it by arranging the weights accordingly. Then the neutral point is a result of these 2 points. So neutral point is basically the one where the net moment acting on the plane. So we can see the moment. I would like to talk about the moment here. So the weight force is acting downward, and the center of pressure where the lift force is acting upward. So this will generate a moment, a couple we can say. Now this couple is continuously acting over the plane, but the effect of this couple is not varied with the angle of attack at that point is known as the neutral point. So neutral point is the one where pitching moment does not depend on the angle of attack. So that is the neutral point and depends on the external geometry of plane. So it depends only on the external geometry. So that is the most important point of this thing, because it depends on the external geometry and not the aerodynamic forces. So it's a basically dependent upon the external geometries. So if we change the external geometries, then we'll change the neutral point location. Okay. So this is basically the 3 points that I would like you to know: the center of pressure, the center of gravity, and the neutral point. Next to that, what we have over here is why we actually need the tail. Let's first understand the importance of tail in a plane. So let's understand it better. Now what I have here is a aerofoil cross section, you can see, and it is varied with different angle of attacks like this 1, 2, and 3. So it is varied with different angle of attacks. Now let's consider that for this angle of attack 1, the CG some ahead of the CP. So this is the CG line and this is the CP line. So this is the distance between them, right? So the CP was behind this, So due to this, a couple will be generated, like the CG will having some weight which is acting over in this direction. A couple will be generated which is in this direction, that is the anti-clockwise direction. Now if I change the angle of attack by pitching, like if I pitch, like I use the elevators to pitch the plane, and I change the angle of attack, and the CP moves forward. The CP moves forward, and the couple acting will be like this. So this is a clockwise couple. And as I go on increasing the angle of attack, the magnitude of couple starts increasing, because lift is also increased, as well as the distance between the 2 points has also increased. You can see over here, the distance has also increased, and the lift has also increased with angle of attack. So the magnitude will increase, and the plane will try to tilt in the pitching moment, but this thing will be sorted out by the tail. Now let's imagine a tail over here. A tail is defined for generating negative lift. So by negative lift, I mean it is going to have lift in this direction. This is the negative lift of the tail. Now this negative lift will be acting at this point, and it will be generating a moment which is in this direction. While the next plane, the this thing is having a couple in this direction. So this moment will cancel the couple. So that's how the tail works. So this is the thing regarding the tail. Now let's have a look at this thing. If suppose the tail was present over here, the same tail was present over here, and it generated a negative lift. It generated a negative lift. But this is in again this direction. Similarly, the couple by the CP and the CG is also in the same direction, by the lift and the weight is also in the same direction. Now this is going to damage your flight, like this is going to make your plane stop. So if the CP should always be behind CG, CP should always be behind CG for your plane to fly stable. So that's the condition, and the location of these 3 points will be always like this: the CG as the frontmost part, then CP, and then the neutral point. So this is how we mark the 3 points on the plane. Now let's look at some types of tails. So basically, depending upon the plane and other different aspects, we have different these types of tails. The first one is the dorsed fin, which is inspired from the dolphin tails. Then the next one is the standard tail, that is we actually see in many aircrafts, and what we are going to design for our plane, that too. After that, what we are actually seeing is a twin tail. It is also known as the H tail, because if we see, the shape will looks like H. This is also known as H tail. Then we have a V butterfly tail, which is a V tail. They don't have any vertical stabilizers, because this V shape is going to handle all the moments accordingly. Then this is a T tail, as from the shape that looks from the behind. And these are some different types of tails. Now let's see how we can size the tail. The tail sizing begins with the typical values of tail volume coefficients. So these are the CVT and CHT are known as tail volume coefficients. CVT stands for vertical tail volume coefficient and HT stands for horizontal tail volume coefficient. Now I have written the what are the particular terms meant over here. So the LVT and LHT are same distances in our case. If we are trying to have a different type of tail, then it may change. But these are same, and these are nothing but the moment arms of our plane, and that is nothing but the distance from 1/4 chord to the wing. So the 1/4 chord to the tail start. So 1/4 chord of wing to the start of the tail is the momentum. After that, the CW and BW represents the chords and wingspan of the wing respectively. So the CW and BW will represent the chord and the span of the wing. Then second thing what we have over here is the SHT and SVT. These are the areas of the tails. So the vertical tail and horizontal tail, these are the areas of the tail. Now the typical values of these things are mentioned in from the references is this. So this is the typical values for this coefficients. Now what's in our hand is either we should fix the tail areas or we should fix the momentums in order to find out the other one, because we have already have typical values for these coefficients. So in our case we are going to fix the momentums because tail areas are hard to be assumed, but momentums we can assume as 3 feet 0.9 meters or 4 feet 1.2 meters like that. So what I've done over here is I I use Excel for that, and from Excel I have characterized this equation in terms of the area of the horizontal tail, and from that I have used several values of momentum, and from that I calculated the area that I require for my plane. Then similarly I went through the calculations at selecting an aspect ratio and dividing the tail in span and chord, and from that I'm going to size the tail. After this sizing, I need to check for the stability, and before that I want you to know something about stability. So this is how we define stability. So basically there are three types of stabilities that we see. The first one is positive stability, zero stability or neutral stability, and third is the negative stability. Now what I mean by negative stability, positive stability and zero stability is, let's see the first one. Now the positive stability. If I move this ball over here slightly or here, after a certain point it's gonna reach its equilibrium position after making some oscillations. So this is known as positive stability, that the object will restore its own position eventually after some time without any external force. That is known as the stable plane or stable body. Then what I mean by neutral stability is, if an object is acted upon by an unbalanced force and it never affects its stability, then we call it as neutral stability or zero stability. The last thing I want you to know is the negative stability. Now if I displaced a ball from this end, is not going to coming back. So this is known as the negative stability, that if I displaced a body and it's not going to return its original position without applying any external force, then it's known as the unstable body. So this is basically about the stability. Now let's uh, analyze our plane in XFLR 5 and see what we have got over there. Now here's the project with our tail. Now I'll show you my tail specifications that I have calculated from XFLR, like that tail volume coefficients. So first of all I would like you to show my tail calculations over here. So this is my horizontal tail volume coefficient CHT values that I have chosen. After that, momentum 1 was 3 feet, momentum 2 was 1.2 feet, that is 1.2 meter. Then this was 3 feet, that is zero point 0.9 meters. And in between them, I calculated the average value as 1.05 meters. From that, for each different value of horizontal tail coefficient and a momentum, I got these areas. So you can see this is the area, this is the values that the formula that I have used, and this is the values that I have got. And from that, I selected one tail and modeled it in XFLR 5 from here. XFLR 5 planes, current plane, edit. Then I put that I chose tail as zero point 0.9, but this distance is marked from the origin, so I put as 1 meter. Then I defined the tail as like this, selecting the aspect ratio of around 3, that is 2.97. You can see the aspect ratio 2.97, so I selected aspect ratio as 3. And then I used a NACA 008, that is a symmetric foil for my tail. The tail foil should not be cambered, so tail foil should be always symmetric, so you have to do a foil analysis for analyzing the tails before. Then again you model the tail and run an fixed weight analysis. From this you will get to know the location of neutral point. Like if I run an analysis right now, define analysis, lift inertia, yes, okay, I have defined the CG as 1/3 chord or 1/4 chord. You can define like that. At 1/4 chord you should determine the CG first, then run the analysis and sequential analysis. And after analysis you can see that my neutral point location is over here, that is the XNP, that is the neutral point location at 129, and my CP is at 115 from the origin. So this is my CP, this is my neutral point, and my CG is ahead somewhere here. So my CG is at 0.067, which means that it is ahead of my CP, and my neutral point is also behind my CP. So which means that my plane is going to be stable because my CG is ahead of my CP and also ahead of my neutral point. So that's how we are going to decide the stability of my plane. Now to numerize this value of stability, actually to define the stability, we have something called as static margin, and that's what we are going to calculate for our stability of our plane, and that can be calculated from the formula which I am going to show you now, is this one. Now to quantify the stability, we have got something which is known as the static margin, and it is calculated by this formula. So this is the static margin formula, that is the location of neutral point minus location of CG divided by the chord length into 100%. That's going to give us the static margin. Now from our plane we have to select a static margin which is about 11 to 25%, which is quite good for flying conditions, and more the stable plane, more it is good for flying. Then this XNP can be found out from XFLR 5. This CG we have to adjust accordingly and get the static margin as good as possible, and this is how you're going to stabilize your plane. So thank you guys, I hope you like the video, and in the last part of the video, that is the next one, we are going to talk about the electronics, and I hope you are enjoying the series. Do let me know in the comment section if you feel something good about it. If you have doubts about it, go ahead and ask, it's open for you. So thank you.